Okay, request to vacate a right-of-way. It has been requested by the city to vacate approximately 225 square feet of city-owned right-of-way, immediately adjacent to 12 Central Southeast. Attached is an aerial of the area. The request is being made by Central Crossroads LLC to install a fence and create a courtyard for their inn on Central, yes. The property is of no useful purpose to the city, nor is it required to be held by a city by any code. The recommendation is that the administration is recommending the council proceed with a public hearing.
So it's out the back door and down half a block.
Yep.
Yeah.
There were no EPA issues with doing this, right? I mean,
No, we've dug
we're all
up the
we're all clean,
EPA
we're all
3 or 4
clean.
times, that thing back there.
Yeah, this wasn't,
Wasn't even in it.
yeah,
that
this
isn't in
little
there.
piece wasn't even in there.
Nice.
Okay, my bad, it was good enough.
Yeah, it's, you know, why it ever ended up, why it ever looked like this, who knows?
I don't know, but it's.
We
gonna
have
look
nothing,
nice if
we
it
have
looks like
nothing
the
there,
drawings.
we have no need for it.
That's fine. You guys gonna make it look like the drawings, right?
Really close.
Oh, well, that's what you, go on record that way, the drawings look very nice.
Okay,
That was
entertain
good.
a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 2160,
Yep.
established in November 16, 2021, 12 p.m. public time to hear public comments regarding proposal to vacate right-of-way adjacent to 12 Central Southeast and conveying it to the adjoining property owner.
Is there a second?
Second,
Motion made.
with a comment.
Excuse me?
I have a comment on it. We dealt with this years ago back in this area. So we gotta make it clear that people understand that, because somebody's probably gonna mistake this, that we had an access to the back of those buildings back there. And that was one of my concerns when I was fire chief, to getting back in there, that this does not impinge on any of that. And we looked up the records of when they did some plotting back here and put these buildings in, that we would have an access to that. Well, then they couldn't find it in the minutes. But at that time, we said we need to still continue to establish to get between and back in these buildings. And people need to understand that this isn't vacating alleys. This is not a vacation of vacating that alley. It's a part that's adjacent to this building that they do own back there, which doesn't impinge on anything. So I've got no problem with it. But I'm just kind of concerned that we kind of watch as we do this part back here, that we don't start closing that in without having some proper hearing if they decide to add on to those buildings back there. That's my only comment.
Okay, to entertain a motion.
Oh, we got a motion now.
Is there a second?
Yeah, we got that.
Motion made and second to approve resolution number 2160, establishing November 16, 2021 at 12 p.m. as a public hearing concerning the proposal to vacate a right-of-way adjacent to number 12 Central Avenue Southeast and convey to the adjoining property owner, which I believe is Adam's here, I see, isn't he? Yeah. Thanks, Adam. Do we have a roll call on that?
Now,
Yep.
Donlin,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Schipper.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to number E3, speed limit ordinance. At the October 19th, 2021 meeting, council approved the first reading of the ordinance in number 969 regarding changes to chapter 140, controlled access facilities, and specifically speed limits on K49 and 7th Avenue Southeast. Attached is the aerial and the ordinance changes. And I don't know if you had a chance to look it over, but I know we visited about this product, or this program for quite a number of years. The administration is recommending council approval on it. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 969 to amend chapter 140, controlled access facilities of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the second reading of the ordinance of 969 to amend chapter 140, controlled access facilities of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances. Do we have a roll call on that?
Shipper,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, where are we at on maybe some lighted signage out there? I did get a call on this particular from a person who lives out here, and he wanted to know, what the council would think of possibly adding a stop sign out there on like Happy Trails or 18th and 12th. And I said, if I'm not mistaken, you don't use stop signs for speed control. But we had talked about electronic signs, so because he did say, he said, it really is an issue. They're burning by there pretty good. And he said, so, he had talked about the possibility of a stop sign. I'm not pro stop signs, but in certain situations, they have their place. So,
I think we should look into those flashing speed limit signs. We got one of the positive feedback on the ones on 75.
okay,
I think like Jason said last 2 weeks ago, they really weren't that expensive, and I think the benefits are gonna be tremendous out there.
okay. I also don't want to run down too big of a bunny trail, but how many complaints do you get on 12 Southwest? I've had a couple citizens looking at this, talking about this particular one. And for anybody who doesn't know, it comes up from that Floyd Valley Park, that Floyd Park to Walmart area. And that's a pretty speedy road. And
We get a couple calls on that stretch right there and on 12th Street. But generally, folks aren't calling us. It's word of mouth.
Right.
Get the information.
I get that, yeah, okay. I just wonder if that's something we shouldn't be looking at, those two areas, so.
Okay, I hear that. We'll look into that.
Okay.
That answer your question, Clark?
Yes, sir.
Did we get a roll call
Yep,
on that?
we're done.
Yeah, we're done on that one.
Okay, moving on to E4, all terrain vehicles and snowmobile ordinance. At the October 19, 2021 meeting, council approved the first reading of ordinance number 970 regarding a change to chapter 75, all terrain vehicles and snowmobiles. The change would be better defined where such vehicles are allowed on city streets. Currently, those vehicles are not allowed to drive on business US 75. The proposed change would allow such vehicles to drive on business US 75 south of Highway 3. Attached is an ordinance reflecting the change. The administration recommends the council approval on this. To clear that up. Any questions? I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 970 to amend chapter 75, all terrain vehicles and snowmobiles of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the second reading of the ordinance number 970 to amend chapter 75, all terrain vehicles and snowmobiles of the Lamar's Code of Ordinances. Do we have a roll call on that, Jacob?
Donlin?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Shipper.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Normally you don't have a roll call, right? Are you telling Jan that you don't normally have roll call for every single item?
I did not tell her that.
We usually have one or two a meeting, we don't have 10 a meeting. Just the way it is.
Yes. And Jan, if we do, you've got to spend a lot of time studying those sections.
We don't have to leave right now.
Okay, moving on to the good old city administrator here. You've been awful quiet all day.
Yeah, I haven't had to say a whole lot. We can keep it that way if you want.
What's new in the city?
All right, well, I believe you're all aware, last Friday, was Bill Morgan's last day. He was our assistant wastewater superintendent. He had been here for 18 years. I believe he's got a job in Cherokee now. So that left a vacancy, and Tyler Halls was offered and accepted the position, so he will start as that assistant starting next Monday. So that's a change out there. We're all aware Central is closed off for this week to get that new welcome type sign up there. That'll have interchangeable banners so we can change them as the season and events happen. That'll get changed. They made great progress in one day, actually. They anticipate it'll take all week. I don't know if it'll get any shorter. I don't want to say 4 days in the last 5 days, so it's planned for all week. Just a couple.
Any concerns, any complaints of the road being closed?
Well, Steve? Yeah, there always, yeah.
Okay.
There's inconveniences, yeah.
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 Always surprises,
But no
always
other way-
surprises me when I come to that stoplight, I know that.
Yeah, no other way to do it other
Yeah.
than the way it's being
I
done,
agree.
so. 2 updates on things I believe we've talked about in the past. Schlofelt Engineering will be preparing the topo work I think I brought up to you guys on the new ground that we purchased. So they should be started this week to get that done. All the crops are out. And then another update is the looking at the Lincoln because of the Hy-Vee going in there on that piece of property. Beck Engineering is gonna, I met them out there, it was last week maybe. But they'll be doing the plans for that. Lincoln will have a turn lane. We also, in conjunction with that, something that probably should have been done quite a long time ago was, I'll just call it the Dairy Queen intersection, so Business Highway 75, 6th Avenue, 6th Street, that whole thing. We're gonna change those traffic signals there to include a green arrow, very similar, well, exactly the same as you see on Highway 3 and what you see at the Taco John's corner. If the camera, that sensor up there can sense if there's too many cars in a lane, okay, it'll flip the green arrow on, okay, so turning traffic can go before through traffic goes. So that'll be a change. Hopefully that, it should have been done quite a while ago. So the traffic that's heading south towards south will have the opportunity to turn left across the railroad tracks and kind of clear that intersection, make it a little safer. So that's going to be done irregardless of anything else. So, and
On
then,
that, we have talked in the past, and I don't want to start any fires, but we have talked in the past about closing headed towards NORAM. And
Yeah.
vacating that, are you coming to that?
that's my next thing.
Oh, sorry, okay, I didn't know you, okay, keep going.
Yeah, so to piggyback on that, about a year ago, we had talked to traffic study. It came to the council to actually look at that whole Business Highway 75 corridor from Highway 3 out of town, and specifically that intersection.
Right.
You know, we had talked about, could Business 75 be down to 1 through lane each way with a turning lane in the middle? Do we do something with the Dairy Queen corner by eliminating one of the legs? 6th Street is the obvious one out of there. So a traffic study actually had one meeting with the DOT, and I believe it's Snyder and Associates had been hired to do that, not by us, but by the DOT. to do that traffic study. That was a year ago. And because of this coming back up, I sent an email to Tony down in Sioux City with the DOT to find out where that's at, because I hadn't heard anything. And come to find out, he hadn't heard anything either. So we're still trying to figure out where that traffic study is, at what stage it's at. So that is all supposed to be looked at, Clark, that whole intersection, in fact, that whole corridor. So no results from that yet.
Because it really was, yeah, okay, yes, absolutely. But when you said Lincoln is gonna have a turning lane, where's that at?
So it'd be Lincoln going north and south. So if you're coming from Kemp's up Lincoln
Okay,
towards 6th Avenue,
okay, so if you're coming north from Kemp's on Lincoln.
yeah, you'll have a turn lane to turn left to Business Highway 75 towards the railroad tracks.
Okay,
So then if you put one there, you need one on the other side. So if you're coming from 4th Street and you take Lincoln heading south towards Kemp's, when you get to that intersection, there'll be a turn lane to turn left also.
can you tell me how's Hy-Vee planning on facing? What are they facing the high school or are they facing the railroad?
Essentially the high school, yeah. It's in there at a little bit of an angle.
Right, yeah, but, okay, that's gonna be.
So
the front.
towards the building, this grocery store will be towards the Mid-American, the south side. Del Killen's J-Max is
Yeah.
there.
Doc
toward-
Conley. right?
Yeah, towards that corner. Well, not towards here, but towards Lincoln.
But that will be the front of Hy-Vee.
That will be the back side. And the front will be facing,
Oh, gotcha.
The highway.
yeah, well, facing towards 8th or 6th Avenue, really.
Kind of like six.
Family table, you know?
Yeah, it's all sitting in there. I'll show you, Clark. I've got it. There's a site plan for it. Oh, there's a site.
Okay, I'm a little, okay, good enough.
Yeah.
Are they planning on moving the gas pumps too?
Not immediately.
Okay.
They have it drawn on their site plan for a future.
Yeah, I thought it was,
And
yeah.
for immediate needs, they'll keep the gas station portion where it's at.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
That's all I had.
Anything else?
Oh, wait a minute, you gotta tell us, Cleveland, we got that all figured out, right?
Not yet? Not closed out. We haven't wrote a check yet, second check yet.
I didn't really need to pick it up for that, I was thinking you were gonna say it is
No.
done, because
Three
it's
more
23
meetings.
degrees.
Three more to go.
No,
Looks like it.
the final pay app hasn't been done yet.
Okay. And you're still planning on
But
putting water on?
punch list is done.
Have we turned any water on ever yet?
Just to test it,
And that was good,
yeah,
and then we drained it.
and then we shut it down.
Okay.
It's a nice parking lot.
Yeah, that's open.
I didn't ask that question.
But I had some concerns about the drive-throughs in that parking lot,
Yeah, we'll address them, we'll see what can be done.
because that is a little bit of a concern to me, but, and then I called you about Highway 75, Business 75. We've got some areas, and I'm thinking particularly by Verizon Hy-Vee, right in their camps. If we don't get something done pretty soon, I'm afraid some of them are gonna start popping up on Canaan.
Yeah, I did talk to, after you called me, Clark, I told you we had met out there about.
Yes.
On the
On the
curve.
curve, on the curve.
portion. So that'll be addressed before winter.
Okay,
The area down at the intersection of the 12th Street, that whole turn, or that intersection, that was looked at. There's less of a concern of that stuff popping out,
okay,
so I don't know if, I don't think we'll do anything with that,
okay.
but I might eat my words if it does pop out in the wintertime.
Well, I'll be here to tell you. that.
Yeah, I
told you so.
Yes, you will.
As long as it's being looked at, 'cause that's getting pretty severe. That's getting pretty severe.
Yeah.
Well, if you come across the railroad tracks from Hy-Vee, you come down onto 75, that first section, I'm gonna say what would be the northbound lane immediately into 75 is really breaking up pretty bad.
Yeah, was it last year we did do some repairs to some of it?
That was on the southbound side,
I
yeah.
think it was on the other side, yeah.
Yeah, we did get some of the worst stuff at that time taken care of, but that whole intersection needs
I
to
do
be.
know that sitting in the seat of a semi looking down on it, it's pretty.
Even the extension of 12th Street heading towards Walmart, that's got quite a bit of work to be done to that one too.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll get to it.
Okay. Anything else, Jason?
No, I don't.
Finance Director, Mr. Jacob.
Not a lot, just a quick report or update on campground out there. It was a good summer out there again. A lot of people used it. Our receipts were up about 10% from the year before, and so it's being utilized and bringing in some revenue. I mean, we also have expenses out there too.
Is the manager gonna be around next year? Is they
We
contracted?
don't have a new contract signed yet.
Yeah, they were in there last year.
You what?
They were in there last year.
Yeah.
That discussion hasn't happened.
Right,
Yeah.
it'll have to be reviewed.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
No, excuse me.
We're gonna talk about, you gotta sit there and Jacob's gotta start working on the budget, and one of the things is the TIF, whether we certify, don't certify, all that kind of stuff, so he's working on that. That's gonna come at the next meeting.
Yep, next meeting you'll have our annual TIP certification that we send to the auditor, and then our annual AFR report that goes to the state.
And
AFR's annual financial
and
report.
not that anybody can figure anything out from those reports, but he's gonna do the overview and explain to you what we're gonna keep and what we're gonna return back to the school and county.
Yep.
Okay?
Oh, and so the state legislators did approve,
Plan 2.
yeah, what do you call it?
The
Legislate, yeah,
the lines,
redistricting. So that was approved, so that basically started the city's 60-day clock to get our stuff done.